Hello, and welcome to the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, our new podcast. I am your host, Holly Rustick, and today I have with me Miss Jessica Stout of Bonita Baby. Thank you for coming.
Oh, half a day, Holly. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and you're also going to be a part of the Entrepreneur series that we have, so that's coming up our day today. So this is really exciting that you're going to be presenting today, and we're just kind of giving a preview today. So it's really exciting, and we just so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the invitation to come and speak with the students today. I am a UOG alumni, so it's always nice to come back to the university. And just very exciting to be sharing my story today.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and start there then. You're a UOG alumni. So what did you major in and when did you graduate?
So I majored in business management. I graduated in the spring of 2000. So it's been a while. My career background is really in finance and insurance, and I was probably practicing for about 15 years maybe before I started my business.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. So did you start Bonita Baby right out of college then after you graduated from UOG? Or you said it took you a while, 15 years?
Yeah, it took a while.
Okay.
It took a long time. I mean, yeah, I was working in the insurance industry. I was working in the finance industry. And then I think I just started to feel like I wanted to just do something new. I had a hobby. I mean, this business was born out of a hobby that I loved. And I had my daughter, Olivia, in 2014. And I started to sew these cute little hair accessories for her, and I just kind of ran with it.
Oh, that's so cool. So you just started it kind of as a hobby for your daughter, and then it turned into more of a side hustle. You had people start asking you where did you find these? Oh, I made them. Was it kind of that conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a side hustle. I was making these headbands. I would get really great comments about Olivia and how cute she looked in them. And one day I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna make a bunch of these. I'm gonna make a bunch of these. I'm gonna go to this craft fair and I'm just gonna put them out. And it was really, quite honestly, I had no real expectations. I didn't have any great expectations, for this turning into, or evolving into the business that it has become. It was just something that I love to do. I wanted to share my product, and Bonita Baby was born.
That's amazing. Had you always liked to sew then? Was that sort of something that you've always done as a creative side?
No, I honestly didn't even know I had a creative side.
You're like insurance, finance.
Exactly. I mean, I had such this mundane life, it was just this daily grind. And like I said, I was looking for something new and different and I guess creative. Sewing was like a new hobby. I took a sewing lesson from this really great teacher, Jackie, who is also teaching home economics at GCC. And she was offering sewing classes and I took her course and I just loved it. And it was just one of those things where I would see these really cute head wraps on little babies on Instagram. And I thought, okay, well, I sew. So I'm going to sew this head wrap and make these for my daughter. And that's what I did.
Oh, that's
and
so cool.
Yeah, it was I just loved it. I loved coming home and going straight to my sewing machine. It was kind of, it's like a stress reliever, I guess. It was kind of gave me an opportunity to unwind and relax, and I really enjoyed it. So it just kind of became like a passion project.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. And I love that you saw something that you really liked and you wanted for your baby too. Was it hard to find those types of items on Guam then? Was that sort of what inspired you as well? Because you wanted to create something so you didn't have to order it or whatnot?
Absolutely. I did order them, so I did order them. And when they came in the mail, they just kind of there was no packaging. It was just kind of, I was buying it from another maker online.
Yeah.
So, but I thought, wow, this just looks so simple. I think I can create this product for myself. And so I started buying fabric and I started playing around and finding patterns for them. And it was definitely something that I did not find locally. So I had to make it myself.
Yeah, because my daughter was born in 2011, and the same thing. I would order those big bows, offline or online because I couldn't find them, and then I remember several years later, and then I started to see it more pop up. But that might have been yours.
Yeah.
So because I couldn't find them anywhere, and I was like, oh, they're so cute. I wish, because then you have to pay for shipping and everything. So
Right, and a $3 bow becomes like $12 after shipping,
Yeah. So I love that you not only saw something in you and said, oh, I'm creatively inclined to do this, but you also were like, there's a gap that needs to be filled, and I'm going to give it a go because people are asking me about it. So that was kind of like a market research that came to you. You know what I mean? So yeah, how did you kind of say, okay, I'm going to go ahead, do this? You put it at the holiday craft fair. Do they sell really quickly, and then you said, I'm going to do this again, or kind of how did it grow?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I saw that there was definitely a demand for it. When I first started, they were relatively inexpensive, and I think what I also did was I packaged my product, so I kind of made it cute. I made it nice for gifts. So, it was during the holiday season, and I really saw, that there was like a need for these like hair accessories. I'll tell you what it also taught me though was that at my table I only had things for girls. And so I was having customers come up and they were like, okay, well, these are really cute, but what do you have for boys? And that was, like you said, when you're doing like market research, that kind of gave me it kind of made me aware that I was missing out on a totally separate market and I had to try to expand my line a little bit. So, I mean, it just went from, putting out these hair accessories and selling hair accessories to starting to now think of this as a thriving business or a potential business where I could like start looking at different markets and trying to see how I can fill that market.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So what were people coming to you wanting for boys?
Oh, do you have bow ties or ties or suspenders or just like little things, anything really. They just wanted to know, what do you have for boys? And I'm like, wow, you know what, today I don't have anything, but I made sure that the next time the craft season came around that I had something for boys. And it was shortly thereafter that I started to talk with my brother. We are a family business. My brother is my graphics designer.
Oh, that's really cool.
And yeah, he was really an integral part in helping us create the local designs that we do have. So we launched our youth apparel line under Kid Pacific, and that was what our first foray into like boy products.
Oh, very cool.
And gender neutral, really. I mean, it was for boys and girls.
Right. So what was the first like product that you made for a boy? Was it a bow tie or suspenders or?
So the first product that I actually made, I think I did try to make a few bow ties, but I really found that that really wasn't my niche, and I had to just, you kind of have to stick with what you're good at.
Yeah.
Right. So the youth apparel was a little bit easier for us to put out to market. So, really, it's for the things for boys that I have would be like youth apparel. Baby bibs was also the other thing that we expanded into was bibs for babies, which are very practical.
Yes, you can never have enough.
You can't have enough for a little baby.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So did you all of a sudden, like your first year of business, you're going out, you're going to these holiday craft fairs, like how long did it start before your business started to grow and you thought, this could really be something, like a main thing instead of just a side hustle?
I feel that once our product line expanded, once I was making more baby bibs and like burp cloths and practical gifts that were for both baby boys and baby girls, and then we had the apparel line. I think after that second year, I thought, okay, I feel like we were getting more recognition on social media. We were getting more requests for products. We were getting more requests for us to ship, and people were placing orders through us on Instagram. And I think when we saw the uptick in demand, especially from the our stateside followers, we realized that we might be onto something here. And I think that's really, kind of where we started really planting the seeds to make this more of a, start planning for things like our storefront and...
Was that a big decision?
It really was.
Yeah.
It was. It was scary. I mean, it's really scary, to commit, to leasing out space,
Oh, yeah.
to transforming that space into, the space that you want to, showcase your products. And I want to say that we were lucky. We were very, very lucky. I'm very fortunate because we were part of the GUMA cycle. The GUMA stands for Guam Unique Merchandise and Arts, and we were part of their second cycle of incubators. We received a grant from GUMA that allowed us to increase our inventory, and so the funds that we received from that extra stock, that's what we used into transforming our space and into filling that space. So I think without it, I think I would have been a little bit more scared.
Yeah, that's amazing that you had that. It's that grant, right?
Yes, it's a GUMA grant.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you don't have to pay it back, which is wonderful. It's not a loan, right?
Right.
So you can actually, they helped you kind of get seed capital.
It was seed capital.
For the inventory, which is amazing, But I love that you said you kind of just started getting orders through Instagram. Is that basically how you were, getting orders before you even had a storefront? So, can someone, I'm so surprised sometimes, not surprised, but I just think it's really cool that entrepreneurs are able to start just on Instagram. You know what I mean? So is that kind of what your journey was, or you also had a website, or?
Yeah, well, for us, we did have a website. So when we started, we were primarily on Instagram, and I really didn't do Facebook. I just, Instagram is just such an easier platform for us, for marketing purposes. And we were also selling products at Nenny and Me, so we had consignment with them. So between that and the social media, I feel like that just really helped our product line. Like, it helped expose us. It gave us that exposure. So, yeah, I mean, I was very surprised too, because I really wasn't that big of an Instagram user until I had the Bonita Baby Instagram site. And it's really amazing. It's absolutely free. It's amazing how many people you connect with, how many people you reach just from that platform. I think it's just made being an entrepreneur so much easier. Like it's easier than you think to start a business, and have this way to reach people and to be able to sell your products, and we didn't have that, years ago.
Yeah, no, I love it. I like, and how you're saying, were you able to really scale using hashtags, or kind of what was your, what's your formula for Instagram?
I hear people talk about hashtags all the time, and I feel like I don't even use that to its full extent. Hashtags, the ISO, I'm not a millennial like that. But I think we've just been I've tried to be very consistent, and I've tried to be very consistent in our message. And I think what's really helped us is that we always knew that we wanted culture to be a big factor in our products, right? And I want to say that, maybe 90% of our market is locals, like the local market, Chamorros who are living abroad. I mean, they find us, word of mouth, gets around. They find us from social media, and they love that we offer these very kid-friendly, Guam-centric designs on our baby products and on our t-shirts, and we have family shirts, so the whole family can have all the local pride, display the local pride together. So it's been really amazing.
Yeah, your designs are just beautiful. So
Thank you.
and that was intentional. I love it how it's you're coming back to the culture, and you're saying, okay, how can we really showcase our culture in these designs, and what is needed, right? It's what's practical too, like clothing and these different bibs and all these things. So I think that's amazing. So do you feel like how about if we just can kind of transition a little bit here as far as sourcing your materials? Are you able to source your materials here on Guam, or is the factor more of Guam-centric, the designs themselves?
Right. It's extremely hard to source materials locally. And I think every maker knows this, and I think it's one of the biggest challenges that all makers have, and all like entrepreneurs who are making products themselves have. We design everything. I mean, we design, all of our local apparel, all the designs that you see on our baby bibs. I mean, it's our proprietary designs, and we have to outsource. We have to bring these products in. There's no way to do it at an relatively affordable price on island, unfortunately, because we've looked into it. I mean, we really wanted to have products that were at least, near 100% made on Guam, from the printing of the fabric to the output. Yeah. But it would be too high of a price point, to sell.
So what is the solution then for people on Guam then for that, maybe they're thinking about getting into designing clothes or, and they have the same thing where they have to source. Is it easier than to source from Asia because it's closer, or you know what I mean, and it's easier to kind of go there and curate materials, or is it from the States, or kind of what's the solution or that you found useful?
Well, I've found that we really like the quality that's in the United States. I mean, just you never know what quality you're going to get sometimes when you work through Asia, unless you go there yourself. Right. And you can actually be there and touch and see and feel. I haven't had that opportunity. I want to. It's on my list of things for 2019. Oh, nice. So I'm hoping we'll find a source there, because I know we have seen quality products come out of Asia. So right now we're at a little bit of a disadvantage. I mean, we are getting products or getting our resources from the States. It is a little bit more costly, but for right now, this is what's working for us.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. And where do you kind of see this going? You're in 2019 and beyond. You have a storefront now.
Yeah, we have a storefront. I mean, that has actually it's helped our business leaps and bounds. Having a place where people and customers can come and pick up our items. It's easy, it's accessible. That's made a world of difference. So, some of the things that we're working on, we're still trying to expand our product line. We, have some ideas for some products with our designs that we do want to get out to the market. We're trying to work on things like a coloring book, maybe a book with our designs. I mean, there's just something, and we'd love to even collaborate with local, artists on, some of these projects. But, I mean, it's still kind of in the planning stages. So until then, I think once we get through the holidays, we'll start really talking with people and trying to get it off the ground.
Nice. And just going back to, you're in university, you're on a different track in a way, right? Business degree though, right?
Business degree.
Yeah. So what did you find was some of the best courses that you took to help prepare you for where you're at today? Or were there any that specifically helped? Or if not,
all of them.
All of them helped.
I mean, all of them helped. Yeah. I mean, I loved, the School of Business from UOG. I've had really tremendous professors and teachers. There's one class that for some reason it sticks out is my Marketing 101 class. Oh, nice. I had this really great teacher, and she had come in, one of our very first classes, she came, walked right in, didn't say a word, went straight to the blackboard. We had blackboards back then, went straight to the board, and she wrote this really bougie looking word, and it was raison d'etre. She said, "What is your raison d'etre? What is your reason for being?" Oh, wow. And that has stuck with me this whole time, because she, explained that for business and for you to be in business, you have to really figure out what is your reason. We ask ourselves, who am I? Right? Yeah. It's your brand identity, and it's not until you actually have a really clear idea of what it is that you are trying to get out there, and what is your brand identity, that you're able to really see your vision. So every time I'm thinking about products or thinking about a product line or thinking about even a design, I'm always going back to that question, is this part of my brand identity, and is this what I want to put out there? you know.
Oh, I love that.
So like she's like, I always think about that, and I've always thought about you know, packaging. She brought up packaging and how like important that is, whether we realize it or not, like consciously or subconsciously. Packaging makes a big impact on whether you purchase something or not.
Right.
And I really truly believe that. So from the very first fair that we did, I always packaged my items. I packaged it. I made it look like it was something real and something to really, you know, something to want. I mean, I had like little barrettes I was selling for like $1, and my packaging might have cost 50 cents, but I was still going to package them because I felt like it just gave it, you know, a little bit more. It had a little bit more impact.
It does. I totally agree with you. When you get something that's nicely packaged, and especially like upscale stuff, you know, it's even just super simple, but
Very
the
simple.
way it's packaged, it really does make an impression.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way for like your branding. I mean, I didn't know that that's what I was doing, you know, 4 years ago, but I mean, having your logo on everything, I mean, that's, you're branding yourself, and you're kind of setting yourself apart.
Right. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I love that, you know, in 4 years, like just starting off with holiday craft fairs, and then now you have a storefront, you know, blowing up on social media. Like, these are great things. You know, you've really been able to expand your line, do a lot. And have you had, so we've heard a lot about your successes, which is awesome, but, dun, 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 as, you know, just, you know, have been some of the challenges, or maybe some of the failures that you've kind of, you know, come across, and then you've had to get back up and focus on something else, or get back to that branding, you know?
Sure, sure. I mean, there's so many challenges. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, you know, like every business has like 1,000,001 challenges. Resources are always a challenge. You know, capital and funding, you know, is always a bit of a challenge for small companies like us, you know, who are fighting to, you know, pay things like, you know, the raised GRTs, and like I have employee taxes now, and there's so many issues. I mean, I want to say that some of the failures that we have had, you know, we've had some designs that didn't go as well as I thought. Like, there have been some designs that I thought, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Like, I can see everyone in this. And it didn't really, you know, at the end of it, we were like, so it was in our clearance, you know, our clearance bin, you know, and it's hard because you know, you have to, you know, we have to be really smart about what we want to put out there, because, you know, you do pay for everything up front, and then, and, you know, and then you know, you're trying to, like, you know, sell your products, and sometimes they just don't go as well as you planned.
Yeah, and there's nothing really to prepare for that sometimes, right? It's
right. I mean, you know, lucky for us, I think we do things enough in like baby steps that we kind of try, you know, we're some, you know, I'm a very cautious person, so I'm an even more cautious business person. So, you know, we'll kind of test things out, you know, we'll start like with small batches and see how they go.
Right.
You know, so yeah, sometimes they don't go as planned, you know. Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest thing. I'm sure there are more, and if I think about them, I'll let you know.
I know it can be overwhelming, right?
Yes. I mean, you know, it took us a long time to get here, you know. I mean, there are times, there's a lot of frustration too. You know, there are times where you know, even wonder if this is something, you know, is it worth it? You know, is this something that you should keep doing? Like, you know, but at the end of the day, I mean, I truly love what I do, and I love my business, and I love our customers, and I just get so excited seeing, you know, the next generation of Islanders, and, you know, in our gear.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's amazing. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like that feeling.
That's great. So what can you kind of hand over to somebody who may be, you know, looking at starting their own business, and looking at, you know, especially in fashion or just in retail in general, and they're saying, okay, you know, I want to do this. What would be kind of like step one? You know what I mean? Like the first couple of steps, just to kind of get them going.
Sure. For someone like new and just trying to start up, I would say, you know, I would, you know, definitely recommend planning. You know, I mean, we kind of did this on a whim, and a lot of, you know, when I think back, I think I really wish I had planned a little bit better, you know, for this business. But I would start off with planning. I would start off with, you know, figuring out what your ideas are, you know, kind of getting that in line, and then doing some research. You know, if there's like a certain, you want to make dresses, you know, why don't you take a look around, you know, your other competitors and see what are other people doing? How can you set yourself apart from the competition? And then just do it. You know, just go for it. You know, because you're never going to know if your idea is good unless you actually start. And I see so many people who have like these really great ideas, and they're just spinning these ideas and talking about it, but they're not starting. You know, you need to just go out there. It's so easy to get a business license. You can get a business license in one day, and it's like, then you're legitimate, you know, and then you can run with it. And I feel like Guam is really, really ripe for new businesses right now. There's so much opportunity. There's so much, you know, there is competition, but I feel like if you just think out of the box and think of some new things to offer to the island, you know, there's a wealth of opportunities out there.
Awesome. And just, one last thing then is just, what's been your main source or resource to go to, you know, and what would you recommend to those people who might come against the wall, and, you know, they don't, you know, you get to that quitting point, but you say, okay, I'm going to turn to this resource. It's solid. It helps me through.
Absolutely. I want to say that what really helped us, you know, I mean, I told you about the frustration that, you know, we've had, you know, over this 4-year period, and I would go back and talk with the SBDC. You know, Denise Mandiola was really great. She held my hand, you know, throughout, you know, the start of my business. You know, the team is amazing. I'd definitely reach out to there's so many resources on Guam now. You know, it's made it so much easier to be able to start a business. The SBDC is one. I want to say, Guma, they're starting their new grant cycle in January.
Yay.
Follow Guma Guam on Instagram and look out for their post, because they will have another cycle. They were instrumental for us. You know, I feel like, you know, they are doing a real bang up job in like just supporting entrepreneurs and the business, you know, startup businesses out there. And I see that, you know, UOG has the new Entrepreneur Center. I mean, there's so many different resources available right here at the university.
Awesome. Well, so do you have something coming up in your line for Christmas time, and where can people find you?
So we do have some new designs coming out.
Yay.
I don't necessarily know that they're specifically for Christmas, but, you know, we definitely do have some new products coming out, some T-shirts, and then we also have a restock of our classic shirts, which we, you know, we always, you know, like to restock on those, because when Christmas comes around, you know, they do make really great gifts to send off island. And we are also expecting like a shipment of like holiday items. So yeah, come and see us. We're in Hagatna. We're directly across Tropical Living in the Carmen's restaurant in the Janet building.
Awesome. And on Instagram, where can people find you on social media?
On social media, you can find us on Instagram, Bonita Baby _Guam. And we are also on Facebook, Bonita Baby Guam.
Awesome. Well, that is great. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any last words of advice or wisdom for people out there? She grimaces.
I know. I feel like I just want to say, you know, I feel like I have mentioned that, you know, Guam is really ripe for like new businesses. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and I would just say, don't let, you know, fear hold you back. It's going to be the most frightening and vulnerable thing you may ever do, but trust me, it's like so well worth it. You're never going to regret putting yourself out there and, you know, giving it a shot. Just go for it.
I love it. I love it. That is going to definitely be a quote on one of our Instagram posts. So thank you so much, Jessica, for being here today.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, wonderful luck for your business. May it be prosperous. And I will definitely be shopping there for the holidays. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.